You were not supposed to find this video, not because it was hidden, but because most people scroll past it without a second glance. They see the thumbnail, they keep moving, their unconscious quietly deciding this is not for them. But you stopped, and that single moment, that pause, is not as random as it feels right now. Jung spent decades studying exactly this: why certain people are drawn toward depth while others spend their entire lives skimming the surface. Why some individuals sense things before they happen, feel what others cannot articulate, dream in symbols that later walk into their waking life. And what he discovered was not a mystical secret reserved for the chosen few. It was something far more precise, far more personal. A pattern written into you before you drew your first breath. Here is what most people will never understand about themselves: the restlessness you have carried for years, the feeling that you perceive the world differently from those around you, the moments you knew something was wrong before any evidence appeared, the exhaustion that comes from simply being in a crowded room. You have probably been told you are too sensitive, too intense, too much. But what if none of that was a flaw? What if every single one of those experiences was the unconscious trying to hand you a map, and you have been folding it up and putting it away your entire life? This is not a personality quiz. This is not a list of feel-good affirmations. What you are about to encounter is a psychological excavation, rooted in Carl Jung's deepest work on the collective unconscious, archetypes, and the individuation process. By the end, you will not just understand what your spiritual gift is. You will understand why you have always had it, why it frightened you, and why the world specifically needs the version of you that stops hiding it. Most people will watch something else tonight. They will choose comfort over clarity. But you are still here, and that already tells you something. Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. Carl Jung. Your greatest and most beautiful journey is the one that leads you back to yourself. Subscribe to Carl Jung Philosophy and hit the like button, and let's walk that path together. If this opening has already stirred something quiet inside you, if some part of you recognized itself in those words before your mind had time to analyze them, drop 1111 in the comments below. That number carries the frequency of awakening, and this community needs to know how many of us are opening our eyes at the same time. There is something within you that not everyone can perceive, but the unconscious always recognizes with absolute clarity. That is precisely why you are here, reading these lines in this particular moment. This is not coincidence. Perhaps the deepest layer of you is attempting to remind you of something the conscious mind has long forgotten. The spiritual gift that was placed within you even before you released your first cry into the world. Today, you will not simply consume content, you will enter an experience. A compact journey, yet potent enough to brush against the thin veil separating consciousness from the unconscious. Jung believed that every individual carries a unique frequency that shapes the way they encounter reality. And your gift, whether it manifests as razor-sharp intuition or the capacity to empathize at extraordinary depth, did not materialize by accident. It is the resonance of ancestral memory,
the imprints and sorrows you believed you had left behind. In the moments ahead, you will encounter signals you may have once dismissed entirely. The sensation of knowing before knowing, a sensitivity that surpasses the ordinary. The eerie recognition that you have inhabited this exact moment somewhere long before now. And at this pivotal threshold, do not turn away.
Because what unfolds next may be the missing fragment your unconscious has been searching for across years of living. The origin of the spiritual gift reaches further back than your own birth. Even before you opened your eyes for the first time, a part of you already understood what it was carrying. Jung articulated it clearly. The soul does not arrive in life as a blank surface. It resembles a seed that already contains its complete map of development. Life's sole obligation is to awaken that seed, nourish it, and provide the precise conditions for it to reveal its authentic form. The spiritual gift is woven into that map. It is the most profound pattern you carry from the unconscious, not something absorbed from the outside world later, but something you already were before you could name yourself. Observe young children, and the evidence appears immediately. In their earliest years, they display unmistakable signs of their innate nature. Certain children instinctively extend their hands toward the faces of others who are weeping, as though the knowledge of how to soothe lives in their fingertips by pure instinct. Others will remain motionless for long stretches, transfixed by a single leaf on the ground, as though engaged in silent dialogue with an invisible dimension. Still others experience recurring dreams of landscapes they have never visited. Many adults attribute these tendencies to the innocent peculiarities of childhood, but from Jung's perspective, they are early indicators, quiet announcements of the spiritual gift taking shape inside each child. This nature does not emerge from the environment. Rather, the environment is simply the terrain where the gift seeks to make itself visible. Jung held that human beings inherit not only biological genes, but also the collective unconscious, a subtle ancient current of memory in which the accumulated experiences, convictions, fears, creative capacities, and intuitive wisdom of countless ancestors are preserved intact. This is not mystical in any superstitious sense. Contemporary research on intergenerational memory demonstrates that the trauma, emotional patterns, and adaptive abilities of prior generations can leave measurable imprints on descendants through both biology and behavior. When Jung says that your spiritual gift has roots extending back through multiple generations, he is not romanticizing the past. He is offering a precise description of how the human soul carries traces that stretch well beyond the boundaries of a single lifetime. Consider a family with a long tradition of healing. Perhaps a grandmother who neighbors quietly sought out during their most desperate hours. A grandfather who guided others through grief without ever once speaking of his own capacity to do so. Those abilities do not dissolve when such people depart from this life. They embed themselves into the family's unconscious as a living current of energy, waiting to be carried forward. And sometimes that current selects you. You grow up capable of reading another person's emotional state through the quality of their eyes alone. You instinctively locate the precise words that dissolve someone's distress. You may interpret it as simple compassion, but it may, in reality, be a spiritual gift you received without ever filling out an application for it. From another perspective, the spiritual gift can also emerge directly from fractures, both personal and familial. Jung consistently maintained that the wound is where the light enters. Someone who developed within a tense or unpredictable environment may cultivate acute observational skills purely as a mechanism for psychological survival. But across time, those same skills transform into something far more sophisticated, into sharp intuition, into the gift of perceiving precisely what others overlook. A child who once endured profound isolation may construct an extraordinarily rich interior world as a form of self-preservation. In adulthood, that same interior world becomes the source of vivid symbolic dreams, remarkable imaginative power, and sometimes a direct bridge to the unconscious itself. What once rendered us fragile becomes the precise soil in which the spiritual gift takes deepest root. The spiritual gift also emerges through the specific archetypes each person carries. Archetypes are living patterns embedded within the collective unconscious. Some individuals carry the archetype of the healer, others the guide, the observer, or the creator. These are not personalities absorbed from external sources. They are psychological currents flowing beneath all behavior, all choice, all relationship. When you respond to life, select your work, pursue love, or navigate difficulty, you are expressing your archetype, even when you have no awareness of doing so. Someone carrying the archetype of the dreamer may recall little of their early childhood, yet possess an imagination so extraordinary that their dreams astonish even themselves. Someone with the archetype of the observer can identify concealed motivations behind others' actions without being able to explain the mechanism by which they know. Someone carrying the archetype of the healer has been, since childhood, the person others confide in, without any deliberate effort on their part. These patterns are not casual preferences. They are signatures of something you carried long before the external world began instructing you on who you ought to become. What is remarkable is that the spiritual gift nearly always surfaces early in life. Yet we consistently fail to recognize it because it feels so completely natural. Like an individual born with perfect musical pitch, who assumes everyone experiences sound exactly as they do. The gift's very naturalness causes us to treat it as unremarkable, until life eventually positions us in circumstances that force a second look. Jung also observed that the soul arrives in life with a particular inclination. Each person possesses an innate tendency to develop in a specific direction. Some incline toward feeling, others toward intuition, still others toward profound analytical depth. When you live in alignment with that inclination, existence itself begins to feel like moving with a current rather than against one. And ultimately, your spiritual gift exists for a purpose that transcends personal advantage. It is the language the soul employs to communicate with the world, to guide you toward becoming the most authentic version of yourself. the version you were carrying before you were born. Now, what shape is that gift taking within you? Every seed seeks to emerge from the earth, yet each individual blooms in their own distinct manner. Some bloom through penetrating intuition, others through quiet, profound empathy. Still others through dreams that arrive with the precision of navigational instruments. If you feel a gentle stirring in your chest as you absorb these words, as though some dormant fragment of memory has just been roused, stay present a little longer. This journey may be guiding you toward the most significant recognition you will experience, the precise nature of the gift you have always been carrying. If this channel has been accompanying your interior world in ways that feel true, leave a 777 in the comments. That number holds the frequency of sacred wisdom, and this community deserves to see how many of us are walking the same depth together. When Jung stated that each person enters life guided by an archetype, he was not gesturing toward abstract philosophy. He was describing very real, very immediate capacities, so subtle that those who possess them most powerfully are often the last to recognize them. The first form is intuition, the archetype of the prophet.
Those who carry this gift frequently know the truth before a single piece of evidence materializes. They do not speculate. They simply know. Like entering a space and sensing within seconds that something about it is fundamentally misaligned, even when nothing appears visibly wrong. Jung regarded intuition as direct contact with the collective unconscious, an antenna capable of receiving transmissions from dimensions that rational thinking has not yet reached. You may recall the last time you redirected your path because of an unexplainable pull, and later discovered exactly why that pull appeared when it did. Those small, inexplicable moments are the prophet announcing its presence. The second form is the capacity for empathy, the archetype of the healer. These individuals do not merely hear another person's account, they inhabit it. A friend may present a bright, composed exterior, yet within seconds the healer perceives the concealed grief behind the performance. Jung described this phenomenon as unconscious identification. The soul makes contact with another soul before language has the opportunity to intervene. You may feel genuinely depleted after supporting someone through difficulty, yet notice that your presence consistently leaves others feeling substantially lighter. This is not a deficiency. It is the unmistakable signature of a healing gift. Your psyche absorbs surrounding emotional weight so that others may set some of theirs down. The third form is the capacity for dreaming, the archetype of the dreamer. For those carrying this gift, dreams are not nocturnal entertainment. Their dreams possess architecture, messages, recurring symbols, and occasionally a prophetic quality that follows them into the waking day with